Hello and welcome to my new vlogging series. I'm Athena and this channel is where I'm going to be sharing my updates, struggles, and just sort of a day in the life while I navigate writing my first musical or two, going back to school for a field where a lot of people start at a young age, and teaching myself to sing kind of almost from scratch and at home. A bit of background about me. First of all, to clarify something I said a second ago, so I'm going back to school for stage management. While I know that not everyone starts in technical theater at a young age, there's still a lot of young professionals in the theater and entertainment industry as a whole, so it's very daunting for me as someone who hasn't even been to college in years. My background isn't so much in the stage part as in the management part, but honestly, my passion is in both. I've been obsessed with music and poetry, honestly, for as long as I can remember. Since some of my very first memories, I can remember exactly what music I was listening to and how it made me feel. I was reading Alice in Wonderland at the age of 4 and Shakespeare as a preteen. I was dancing around my kitchen at home anytime my parents would put music on and singing from all my CDs in my room loud and proud. In middle and high school, I played the flute in band and I was in chorus, where I went from soprano to tenor to alto and back to soprano. I also played a bit of guitar and piano over the years, but I actually never got good at those. I never had any actual one-on-one lessons though, and weirdly enough, I never fully learned how to read sheet music, or honestly, more accurately, I never learned how to comprehend it. I did learn though from a young age that I have a decent vocal range and a natural ear for music. For example, I developed the abilities to play by ear and to recognize how songs go that I had never heard before without any sort of formal training before the end of sixth grade. Now, I know that's not a massive accomplishment because a lot of people can do that, but it's something that I was proud of being able to learn naturally without any training and at a young age. I think it means hopefully that I can pick things up quite quickly in music. We'll see. um, in my junior year, I tried out for the high school play, sort of. I got up on stage, I read one line, and then I read the stage direction. Yeah, out loud. I was so embarrassed that I got off stage and ran out of the room. Um, my drama teacher did approach me the next day and say that they had a lot of work backstage and that he thought I would be really great with makeup and costuming because I was actually planning on going to school for fashion and costuming at the time. Um, However, I really wish that I knew back then what I know now about not being afraid of failure and about like picking yourself back up and learning and moving on. But I was so embarrassed that I told him I wasn't interested. And honestly, I just didn't want to be seen around the people who had witnessed me messing up. I then insisted to my family for the better part of 2 years that I didn't even like musicals, despite my love of Disney movies and of literal musical soundtracks that I was singing in chorus. And then fast forward 2 or 3 years, and my friend took me to see A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder on Broadway. The entire cast was honestly incredible, but particularly I watched Jefferson Mays sing his heart out and act his butt off to play 9 different characters all in the same show. And I watched a Grammy winning, Tony nominated performance from Bryce Pinkham, who would then go on to become one of my favorite theater actors. But from there on, I was absolutely hooked. I would regularly take the megabus down to New York to see shows, and I was even fortunate enough to see some shows on West End over the years with my family. Matilda especially held a really, really close place in my heart, and it honestly still does. Like, it was the first musical I became obsessed with. Around this time, I was also introduced to Rocky Horror Picture Show and Repo the Genetic Opera. Repo became my entire personality for several years. So I really, really, really should have seen all of this coming. About 3 years later, though, I moved to Florida to do the Disney College program, and I never looked back. I worked at Disney for 8 years in retail and in retail management, and I kind of fell off of my love for theater. Or so I thought, at least. Looking back though, honestly, I truly never lost my love of it And that was pretty evidenced by the number of times that I went to see Festival of the Lion King, or the number of backstage tours that I had for the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Um, Turns out that the entertainment over at Disney World was honestly just enough talent and entertainment to keep my interest for a few years. However, in 2022, kind of part of the way through my Disney career, my first big trip after being cooped up for a certain pandemic was to New York City. It was the first time that I had been back to Broadway in almost 7 years, and it was truly life changing. It's so hard to believe that that was only 4 years ago now, because it honestly changed the entire trajectory of my life. In one trip, I was introduced to the performing talents of Christian Borle in Little Shop and of Alex Brightman, Carrie Butler, Leslie Kritzer, and Elizabeth Teeter in Beetlejuice. They all went on to become my biggest musical idols of all time. I still worship them to this day. Their talent is incredible. I also was introduced to the absolute genius that is Hadestown. It was the first show to make me cry, and it made me cry not once, not twice, but 3 times. It is still one of the most well written shows I think I've ever seen, in my opinion, and the set also absolutely blew my mind. It's to this day my favorite set. I was lucky enough to also meet David Newman, the show's choreographer, completely by accident, but at intermission, and pick his brain for a very brief but very special moment that I will honestly never forget. The trip completely reignited my love for musical theater, but I never really thought that I had a place in musical theater because I'm not great at singing or dancing or acting. But I was at the time really close with a Disney World show tech, and I learned so much about what he did daily that I was increasingly interested. However, like knowing his background and that he had many, many, many years of experience and training, I still didn't think that I could do it. This was probably about 3 years ago that I decided to dive headfirst into theater, but only as a fan. Fast forward to almost present day, my friend and I began writing a musical about 10 months ago, but we were really slow to start. And honestly, I don't think I took it seriously enough at first because I wasn't confident. I also did start attending more local shows and even occasionally helping backstage at my niece and nephew's shows. I really, really loved it when I got the chance to, but I wasn't sure if it was something that I could do professionally. Then this past November, when I went to see Heathers the musical for my birthday, I was introduced to a new favorite performer of mine, Casey Likes. Honestly, he posts on social media all the time about learning new things, and watching him run around to constantly learn new things and wear as many hats as he possibly can really inspired me to just learn for fun and to work hard to make it pay off. He made me realize that I really do love just learning the new skills in this industry, and I started to think about it a lot more seriously. I was also just in awe of Heathers the musical in general. Like the score, the scene writing, the way that they built the set for scene changes, the lighting, the choreography, the incredible performers. I'm genuinely obsessed. The entire cast and crew are so talented. I last went back to see the show in the last week of February this year, and I decided to start studying how things were done in the show. I went back to the show 4 times that week, and I just watched everything that they did. I watched every entrance, every exit, how they did things. I watched who was setting the breaks for certain set pieces. I watched everything. Um, I was then so inspired on the plane back home that I started researching local schools for theater. And less than a week later, I was telling my family that I had decided to go back to school, which school I was applying to, and the exact degree that I was going to go for. And now here we are. Um, I will say, as of recording this, I actually got accepted into that school yesterday. So I am officially going to school for live entertainment design and production. In this time, in the past like month or so, I've also written way more for our musicals than I had in the past 9 months. But I will say that's enough of my life story for now. I want to get into a little bit about why I made this channel, and the reason that I did is to hopefully show how much I'm able to accomplish on my own with very little help or money. I'm hoping that it'll be sort of inspiring to any others who want to try some of the things that I'm trying to achieve, and at the very least, I think it'll be amusing to laugh at me when I inevitably mess something up. I'll probably eventually get into actual vocal lessons because I really love singing, but for right now, the entire point of the channel is that I'm broke as hell, so it'll be lots of free and affordable ways for me to teach myself. I'm hoping that I can share tools with you guys that might help you guys that also helped me. Maybe boost some creators that are out there helping us, boost some vocal coaches that are helping by posting free content, etc., and possibly help or inspire a few others along the way, or provide entertainment. But honestly, and most importantly, I'm just hoping to document and track my own progress. I'm hoping that this channel will be a huge step in aiding my success and boosting my confidence as I kind of look back on what I can do better, but also am able to celebrate my successes and my progress. I began my singing journey about a month ago, so the first few videos that you'll see were recorded a bit in advance, but going forward, my goal is to vlog about once a week so that I can keep steady track of my progress. So for the first few weeks, I'll probably post twice a week just so that I can kind of catch up, but then I'll likely move down to posting 3 to 5 days worth of singing, practice, and learning content edited down into one video each week. Over on my TikTok and Instagram, though, I'll be posting shorter bite-sized clips as well as tips and resources that have helped me along the way. So please make sure you do go and give those a follow. They're going to be under the same name, Score to Stage, so definitely check those out. And I'm actually already in the works of editing down my first progress video, so please stay tuned for that. That'll be up soon. Okay, I want to add just a couple of things that I forgot to mention, but just a little bit more on my background, why I think that stage management is the right choice for me. I do think I have a little bit of experience in each kind of element. Ironically, the things like lighting and tech are the thing that I have the least experience in, which is a lot of where like stage managers and stagehands and such get started. But I know about as I think I said, I was going to go to school for costuming, so I know a lot about costuming and effects makeup. I actually was in dance in college and, like, technically won an award, but it was like a local one. And then I was in an acting troupe in, like, all of high school, and we actually won, like, multiple local awards for that. Um, so I do know, like, little bits and pieces here and there of all the different elements, and I know a lot about management. So, I was looking into the different types of, like, stage manager. There's like the PSM who calls the show and everything, which like would be cool to get to eventually, I guess. But it's actually not my goal right now. My goal is like ASM, assistant stage manager. I think I would really love being backstage, like doing things from the wing. But then production manager could be really cool. I think that like learning all the technical side of things, since that's what I don't know yet, that's what I'm really excited to learn. And I think they also do the budgets, which I have a lot of experience doing budgets for like companies and stuff. So I think that's something that I could easily catch on to. The company manager is the one that I think I would be like super comfy in, like super like I would jump right in, like dive into the pool because I guess they like handle the cast and crew contracts, the payroll, and the logistics. I've done that in every company I've been a manager for. So like that's home base for me. That's easy territory for me. That's why I'm thinking about going into stage management, even though like I love singing and acting and dancing. I don't think I am a performer. I think that I'm a manager. And I have excelled at management in other fields. And so I'm just wanting to apply what I'm fantastic at to a field that I love. So once again, please go check out my TikTok and my Instagram over at Score to Stage. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.